Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories. The first story is titled, I Can't Prop the Door Open? Alrighty then. I work for a small moving company in my city. We move furniture and decor to many different places throughout the city. We got a call about moving a large load of bookshelves to a rather large industrial building. We loaded up two 18-foot box trucks full of shelves and were ready to move. When we arrived at the building, we pulled around to the loading dock and began offloading the shelves. As we were bringing stuff off the truck, I went to building security to open the door. There had been a recent string of shootings in our area, and everyone was locking all the doors. They handed me a door stop and told me I could prop the door open since we have a large load. So I propped open the door and we got going. We no more had the first pallet off the truck when the building's maintenance manager came running towards us. He screamed at us, "What are you doing? You can't have that door propped open." Now, this man looked like he was somewhere between the ages of 76 and 105. He was as red as I've ever seen anyone. I calmly told him that security gave me a door stop and told me since we have such a large load, we could keep the door propped open. Of course, he wasn't having it. "I don't care what security told you, you cannot have this door propped open." At this point, my Native American temper got the better of me. I replied, "Yes, sir." I walked over to the door and picked up the doorstop. I walked back to security and explained the situation. They rolled their eyes and explained that this crotchety old fossil is always causing problems all over the building. They told me I could still prop open the door, but now I was mad and was feeling petty. "He doesn't want us to prop the door open? Alrighty then." There was a buzzer outside of the door, so I buzzed security, asking them if they could open the door. Well, guess whose office was right by said door, and thus, guess whose security called to open the door and let us in? That's right, Fossil Man that was 2 days older than dirt. He opened the door and let us in. We made our delivery and came back to grab another pallet. I again buzzed security, and they again asked Fossil Man to let us in. This happened twice more before he stopped me and said, "You know, if you wanted to keep that door open, you can, since you have such a big load." I replied with the biggest smile on my face, "Oh no, sir, this door cannot be propped open. I wouldn't want to upset anyone by doing that." He looked at me with a look on his face that was somewhere between murderous and the realization that he had made a huge mistake. 18 pallets later, we had the load delivered. And every single time, guess who had to let us in? It took us a little over 2 hours to get everything finished. The last pallet we delivered, I poked my head into Fossil Man's office and said, "Thank you so much for your help." I'm pretty sure he popped a blood vessel. The next story is titled, FHOA Gets Harassed by HOA I'm Not a Part of, and have refused to join. So, I purchased my property in a quasi-non-voluntary HOA enforced sale. I cleared the liens, which were disclosed prior to my purchase, and have been fixing up the property. I'm currently living in an RV I have parked in the front yard. I have it up on concrete blocks. Totally in violation of the HOA, but I'm not a member. The interior of the house is not livable. Pretty bad hoarding situation, and I have a standing order with the trash company to have a 10-yard bin that gets swapped out every Friday. I predict another 2 to 3 months until that service can be cancelled. The dumpster every week is on top of bags of clothing that goes to Goodwill and all the crap I put up on Craigslist and eBay for sale. Plus, I have enough shampoo and conditioner to keep my hair silky smooth and smelling of springtime for the next 50 years. The HOA has been harassing me to join. I thought we settled the argument, but screw them. They also attempted to have my RV towed off my front yard. Fortunately, I had already made efforts to prevent it from being towed. Namely, I called the towing company the HOA had a contract with, and my lawyer explained the situation. They also started sending me fines in the mail, and I'm adding them to the harassment file. Not being dumb enough to be sued, the towing company agreed that they wouldn't tow any vehicle from any space that could be defined as 123 Oak Street without my direct authorization, including but not limited to the driveway, garage, front yard, or street in front of 123 Oak Street. We also saw a way for them to profit from the situation. This is my pro-revenge on them. We have a standing deal that they can drive the tow truck to my house, then they knock on my door and ask if I called the tow. If I say no, they charge the HOA for wasting their time, and if I don't answer, they can still charge the HOA for wasting their time. The towing company hit them for about $500 before they caught on to the deal that they made with me. Some good news, I've successfully gotten into the bathroom and cleaned out all the children's clothing and decades-old pizza boxes and bags of onion peels. So after a great deal of elbow grease, I might actually be able to shower in my house soon. The next story is titled Neighbor War. My neighbors, both him and her, have whined about a lot of little things over the last 8 years. Bad enough that they are the only reason we would move away. We have considered it many times. Early this summer, they asked if they could heighten our shared fence from 7 feet to 9 feet. They offered to pay, but we said no, and then didn't hear anything for a few months. Then in early fall, they asked again and offered to pay again. I said no again. Then they came back with, "You don't complain about our fence and we won't complain about your shed being too close to the other neighbor's fence." So I said, "Give me the weekend to think about it." I then spent the weekend moving my shed exactly 10 inches farther away from the fence so it complied with city bylaws, and we haven't talked since. Not about the fence, not about anything. It's been 4 months. Super petty, but I am quite proud of this. The next story is titled, My Entitled Boss Almost Killed Me and Got Himself Arrested and Fired. I'm allergic to hand sanitizer, alcoholic wipes, generally anything that has alcohol-based products. I even bring my own soap because I can have a reaction to some soaps. I can't even drink the stuff without my lips swelling. My old boss was my cousin, so when COVID hit, I didn't really have a problem until my cousin got promoted and got transferred to a new office. Enter our new boss. We got a mass email going over our new COVID safety procedures, and one of the new procedures is that we all have to use hand sanitizer and antiseptic wipes. I sent an email to HR telling them about my allergies with medical documents. They sent back saying that I don't have to use the hand sanitizer and antiseptic wipes, and that they put it in my file. However, when I sent the exact email to my new boss, he replied saying that all employees have to follow the new COVID safety procedures, no exceptions. When I then replied that if I use those products, I'll need medical assistance, he then sent me another email saying that if any employee doesn't follow the new COVID safety procedures correctly, that they would be fired. I sent copies of the emails to our union rep and HR department, to which they replied that they would talk to him and kinda told me to ignore him unless he tries to actually fire me. So I go into work and my new boss is literally waiting for me at my desk with a bottle of hand sanitizer in his hands, asking me to hold out my hands. I replied saying, "No thanks, I'd rather not go to hospital today." He got mad and literally grabbed my hand and squirted sanitizer on it, then rubbed it in. Then said, "See, that wasn't so bad." I tried to go to the bathroom to wash it off, but he blocked me. Well, I had a bad reaction, thank God I had an EpiPen in my desk. My boss kept saying I thought he was lying, and kept saying that until I was put into the ambulance and couldn't hear him. A member of the HR department and the legal department came to visit me in hospital, probably making sure I don't sue, and informed me that he was fired. The woman from the HR department also said that they called the police on my behalf and I should be getting a visit from them soon. I can't talk about that as it's an ongoing investigation. ETA, I'm in Australia, so no medical fees. I'm not happy about the EpiPen, $40, they are expensive. Also, cops won't tell me anything. That's frustration. They did tell me that he's been ordered to stay away from me. So he must be out of jail if he was ordered to stay away, right? I'm still in hospital hoping to be released today or tomorrow at the latest. I'll update when I get more information. The next story is titled, Entitled Parents Stole My Switch and Held it Hostage because I wasn't visiting anymore. I'm 20M and moved out of my parents' house at 18 because I really can't stand them. And it's for all of the kinds of reasons you can guess. They were jerks, favored my younger siblings, used me as free childcare, told me what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine, and all that BS. When I left, my dad told me not to let the door hit me on my way out, and don't come back. I got the smallest and cheapest apartment I could find and have worked the same full-time job for 2 years. My parents didn't even hold out a month before calling me and begging me to come back home. Because without me, someone else had to watch my siblings. I refused because now I finally had time for myself. My dad eventually called me and actually demanded I move back home and pay them rent instead because family is more important than my personal independence. I said back to him that my life is important too. And for once, I'm getting to live for myself. So he basically said, well then see how long you can last without us, and we didn't talk for months. I don't know what he was hoping for. I managed well enough by myself. My family seemed to slowly accept that I wasn't going to come crawling back, and over time we seemed to mend things. I could tell they were having a hard time dealing with the fact that things were on my terms and not theirs. They begged me to watch my youngest siblings from time to time, even though the two that are closest to me in age are in their mid-teens now. But my parents don't want to put babysitting on them any more than they have to. which is hypocritical of them since they tried to put it on me as much as possible. And yes, I have called them out on that. They responded with gaslighting and more months of silence yet again. And again, they were the ones to come crawling back to me for help. Not long ago, I bought myself a used Nintendo Switch, though could only afford one game for it at the moment, which is Mario Kart. I got it bundled with the console for a good deal. My mom came by on Saturday and asked me to watch my two younger siblings for a while. She basically pushed them in the door at me and ran. And I was stuck with these two rowdy kids all day in my tiny apartment. My mom didn't come back until after 9 p.m. And that was because I called her and made her come get the kids. And she really didn't like that I cut her fun time short. I said that unless she wanted to pay me, I wasn't going to be watching my siblings all day anymore. And next time I won't even open the door, and I'll call the cops if she just leaves them outside. The next morning, I realized I couldn't find my Switch anywhere, so I called my parents. And like I thought, one of my siblings took it. I said I was coming over to get it right away. But my mom said it could wait because my youngest sibling was gaming on it, and she didn't have the heart to take it away. I said it was taken without my permission, and I will be taking it back. I got on my bike and rode there ASAP. And when I arrived, my sibling was crying because the Switch's battery had gone dead and they didn't have the charger. I told them to give it back, but my dad took it and said I can have it back when I agree to start helping out with my siblings more. I told him if that's how he wanted to play this, I'd get police involved. And no, I was not bluffing. He dug his heels in and insisted I wouldn't do it. Until I pulled my phone out and started dialing. My mom yelled, "Wait!" and hurriedly took my Switch back from my dad. He called her a traitor and demanded she return it to him instead of me. But she said it wasn't worth having police called on them. Before leaving, I told them if this ever happens again, I'd be calling the police first. And if they want a Switch for my siblings so bad, they can get their own. My dad yelled that I can't disrespect him like that. And I countered that, even though I'm an adult, he's not bothered to ever show an ounce of respect to me. And I'd had enough. Then I walked out with him yelling at me to come back and face him. Right now, it's back to silence from them. My mom texted me once, begging me to still watch my siblings. I said that if she wanted me to babysit so bad, she could pay me. And I'd only take the money in advance. Because I'm not doing it for free anymore. Especially after they stole from me and tried to keep from returning my property. They don't own me, I'm an adult with my own place and my own life. And they can either get used to it or get lost. It's been over a week since that text convo, and none of them have as of yet talked to me again. Which is fine, they can deal with their own messes. The last story is titled Dog Adoption Fees. I've never posted on here before, but this definitely belongs. We had 2 dogs as of recently, and one of them passed away. She was old and lived a very nice life, so it was peaceful in a way. She had medical issues, so I'm glad she passed around the family she loved. She was larger, a golden mix, and our other dog is much smaller, so we decided to donate her stuff on Craigslist to someone who might be looking for a dog or already had one that needed supplies. I'm talking a high-quality bed, crate, all of her food, toys, etc. All for free. We got a response from a couple who initially seemed nice. They came over to get the stuff. They demanded that we also front the adoption fee for a dog they wanted because we were giving them this stuff, as if they expected it since we were giving them the supplies for a dog. My wife and I told them to kindly duck off. Drove this afternoon to a shelter instead and gave them everything we had. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you again tomorrow.